Hello everybody, time to make some cards. So we're going to start with card number 1 on your Christmas story card making kit. Hopefully you've done all the prep for it, which is the cutting of all the pieces. I have put those under the featured tab at the top, the cutting instructions, and then the extra cutting instructions for the glitter paper and for the mix-ins. So you're gonna need to have done all of that before you start this, okay? So make sure you go ahead and pause if you have not done your pre-cutting. All right, we're just gonna put them together now. So let's go to card 1. And card 1 has a little bit of prep, so let's get that together. Okay, let me get this moved out of the way. So the prep for card 1 starts with, I need my little spongy. Oh, despair, there we go. With doing a little line of this border here. So it's this border right here. Grab that, and I'm just gonna take the 1 by 3.5 stamp here. And I'm gonna lay it down and line it up against the line. Hopefully you can see that there is a line. I don't know if that shows. There's a line on your blocks that help you to line things up that need to be straight like this. And this, yes, this is gonna be tricky because you're not doing a whole long line. So close to my heart have 2 choices, right? They can do a super, super long line, which wiggles and is hard to keep straight, or they can do a, about an inch long line here that you have to keep repeating. Of the 2, I prefer the one you have to keep repeating because I can never get those long wiggly ones straight. So grab your archival black ink and let's ink this up. Now I'm gonna go, we're actually doing the top, so I'm just going to do it close to me. So this is the top of the card. So I'm just going to start over here and I'm going to kind of look over my block. This is going about, well, pretty close to the edge actually. So start it slightly off the left-hand side here. So, I mean, it really doesn't matter, but just so that it kind of looks like it's all linked. And put it down and lift it up. Now here's the, oops, I didn't get enough ink. Okay, I'm gonna flip that over. I'm gonna flip it over. This ink might be older. I have to, I'm gonna have to ink it a little better because that might be an older ink that I haven't re-inked recently. So, okay, I'm gonna press harder this time. And lift up. All right, there's not many tricks to this other than looking through your block. Each thing is supposed to line up to the next, so just try to get it the best you can right up to where the last image was stamped. Press it down, hold it, lift. Yeah, see, I'm just slightly off. Can you see that? But I'm just gonna keep going. And I see that I got a little ink on that. Hopefully that'll be covered up by some of the flowers. So make sure that you're not getting ink on your block. It's like the first thing in stamping that you learn, and I wasn't paying attention. So I'm just trying to line it up the best I can. I'm trying to remember about how far away from the edge I was stamping, and then I'm trying to keep it straight with that. So I can just tell you it's probably not going to turn out perfect, but just do the best you can. Nobody is going to get this card and go, oh my gosh, their line isn't straight. They're not going to do that. Okay, you always have the back side too, like I just used. So that's one of the props. The other prep is you're going to take this piece here, I can grab it, and we're going to do the word love. So get that out of your stamp set. And I happen to have another block here you can use. I just realized as I was getting my stuff together for this that I don't have any of my chamois here at all. So when I go home this weekend, I need to get my chamois. because otherwise I have to wait till I'm all done and then I go under the sink and I've been cleaning these. All right, try to get it in the center. I just kind of use the block to help me line up with the paper. I think I'm a little towards the top, we'll see. If not, I do have a second side. Yeah. It's nice and straight, but I think I can do better. So I'm going to ink more and press harder, and I'm going to go a little bit lower. Let's see if that helps. Still feel like I'm high, but much better inking. Okay, so that one's done. Well, now we're going to, does it say dovetail? Yep, go ahead and dovetail that. Cut up the middle, about 1/4 inch, and then up each side. These cards aren't hard once you have got everything cut out. The cutting on this was the pain. You know, there was a lot of those little intricate leaves and buds. So once those are done, the rest is pretty straightforward. Okay, set that aside. And then the last one is going to be the jar. So grab the jar, and we're gonna do 2 parts to it. First, the jar itself. I'm gonna put it on this one. And you should have had that cut out. I'm gonna try and get some more ink. I definitely need my re-inkers from home too. And then just go over it. It's not too hard because they have a little bit of, have a little space for you. Press that down. And then you're gonna need your scarlet ink for the small piece. That's kind of the ribbon that goes around the neck. Okay, so that's ready. And this little small piece, I think it's gonna fit on this small block, but we'll see. Flying all over the place. And I don't know if there's a right side, I guess the part where it slightly leans down. I don't know if you can see that. This side kind of leans down a little bit. That's probably the bottom. So get your scarlet ink. And this just goes across the neck. Like that. Okay, all our prep is done for that. And then let's just go through. So it says attach 1A, which is this big red polka dot piece. I'll put that down right on the card base. And just center it. It looks like about a 1/8 of an inch from the sides and top, like that. And then attach 1B, that's the piece that we stamped on here. And that goes centered, best you can do. And then 1C is the love word. And you want to put that down, but we didn't put our, so I see that I wasn't paying attention, but you do the shimmer trim at the top. So I didn't leave space for that. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna do it at the bottom. So since we're gonna make 2 cards, you could just cut this shimmer trim in half. I'm going to do it the easy way, I think. Let me see, is that long enough? No, I need a little bit longer. I'm gonna just put it down and then trim it. So get it long enough. And this would be at the top of yours if you did yours right, and I did mine wrong, so doesn't really matter. The whole idea is just to get a little shimmer trim on there. So right under the word love, I'm gonna put that on, and then I'll trim it off the back. And I'm gonna leave it so that when I do it on the next card, I think I'll have enough to do this, just use this piece. not waste it. So basically I'm hand cutting, and I'm going to take my bigger scissors, hand cutting instead of trimming this and putting it in half. I'm just going to cut it in half this way. Now set this piece aside for the next card. Okay, because that's just right. I'm going to stick it to my camera holder. Okay, so yours would be on the top. Mine has to be on the bottom there. Now we can stick this down. Now grab your ruler, because this is going to go 1 1/4 inches from the bottom and 1/2 inch from the side. Did they pop it up? It doesn't. It does say 3D foam tape. Now, here's the thing I'm going to just tell you. If you pop that up, it's going to be harder to stamp around it. So here's one idea I would recommend. Let's do the stamping right now. So I'm going to put that where it belongs. You could use temporary adhesive if you want. I'm just going to leave it there, and I think I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it there like that and stamp around it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I will put a little bit of adhesive just because it does not want to stick. Doesn't want to stay there. So let me get that. Okay. So I'm going to take and put just a touch of adhesive on this in the middle. Bring it into the 1/2 inch mark and leave it there, and then stamp it. And then I'll take that off and put the foam tape on, because it's going to be just a pain to stamp when that's popped up. So the next part we're doing is sending you right there. And we're going to do that above the love. Let me get my foam underneath there. Just right above it. Nice and straight. Sending you. Oh, and I'd use the wrong color. All right, you're using black, not scarlet. So use black. I'm gonna leave it. Scarlet there because I messed up. And then the sending love this holiday season. So that's up here, and this one I will put in black because I didn't pay attention there. Need to close up my inks when I'm done so that I don't make that mistake. So I'm gonna do this one in black. And that goes right under it. Sending you love this holiday season. Okay, now, close my ink. Let's pop this up now. See, now it will be nice and even. So, get a big fat piece of tape here. And put this right between them. About 1 1/4 inch up. And 1/2 inch in. Pretty much like that, okay? Now we need to make the jar. Get my cheat sheet here. All right, first going down, get your glue. The first thing that's gonna go down is this piece here. All right, and it's just gonna go towards the top, but off to the side. I don't know if they say on here to, let me see. Yeah, they say to put down the jar first and then tuck under it. I don't think in this case that's necessary whatsoever. So I'm just going to put this down, have it nearly touching the side, have it nearly touching the top. All of these just layer over each other anyway. So as long as you're kind of putting the stems together, I don't think you're gonna have any problem getting these all in that jar. The jar's got a big fat mouth to it. So get glue on the brown one now. I'm trying to hold down that other one. Turn that over and just make sure the stems are kind of together, and then they'll fit in the jar. Like that. Okay, grab your white little bud one. Okay, and get glue on that. This is delicate, so I'm going to put a little more glue, a little extra glue to try to keep that down. What are you all going to be doing for Christmas? As I said on another video, the card making video, we are going to Battle Creek, Michigan to be with the fam. Long drive, so we're still debating, do we want to drive the night before and stay at our house? Or do we want to drive the morning of? My husband always wants to go stay at the house, but I feel like this is my house now. This apartment is where I live now. And so, you know, like anytime, you pretty much want to be in your own house. And, but he likes to go up there and cut down on the drive. So we'll see who wins this time. It'd probably be easier if we do go up the night before, because I got to bring food, and that way I don't have to worry about keeping food hot the whole time. I need some ideas though, because I've got to decide what to bring. I'm supposed to bring a main dish. I know I'm bringing a dessert too, and I'm probably going to try some cheesecakes. Haven't made those in years. Maybe some Rice Krispie treats, because who doesn't like those, right? But I need a good idea for a main dish for 22 people. So put your recipes below. All right, get those all overlapped. And then let's do the stamping before we put down the jar. There is a little tiny cranberries right here at the top. Grab your smallest stamp. And this will be in Scarlet. Scarlet. And a couple over here. And over here. And then there's one off to the side there, so I'm just gonna touch so it doesn't go into this part. I just want it a little bit. Okay, now we can put that jar on. And we're gonna pop that up, I think. Let me see, is that what they said? Yes, okay, so this bow needs to go on it, and you're gonna need quite a bit of glue, because when they're this little, they get bent quite a bit by the die cut machine. And so the actual inside of this doesn't tend to, it bows, right? So it's very away from the actual paper. It's kind of like bowed out away from your paper. So you need to put more glue so that it will stick down flatter, because it's curved. All right, see, it's giving me trouble, just like those things. And I see I got a little glue on my jar. Thank goodness for the glue eraser. All right, now some pop-up tape. And we're almost done with the first one. And then we'll just make a jazzier version next. So the only thing, I have this chicken magic pie, and that was one thing I thought I could make. It's basically turns out to be a giant pot pie. It's very, very easy. So that would be one thing, but the problem with that is it's an hour and 10-minute drive to my parents' house. So even if I pull it out of the oven, you know, right away and drive that hour and 10 minutes, it's gonna not be so hot by the time I get there. I should probably look into one of those insulated type things to try and keep it hot. I might buy one of those. But that's one option, or maybe you guys have some better ones for me. All right, put this over all those that little grouping. I see on the first one that I made, I spread it out a little bit more, which you totally can. If you, I mean, the stems don't have to be quite as close together, just as long as they're all gonna fit under that jar. So if you wanted to make yours a little more spread out, you can. I think it looks better a little more spread out. So you could do it. You could just pull them out. So on the next one, we will try that. All right, that card is done. Okay, card number 2. The upgraded version of the card we just did. Let's start on this. So do a little bit of prep. So we're gonna start again with the gray paper. And grab that border off again. I have it right here. All right. Let's see if I can do it right the first time. And we need the sponge and black ink. I like the archival black for when you're not coloring. It's super, super, super dark and it looks very crisp. Okay. Push down, excuse the beeping in the back. Got my lunch going in the air fryer. Just keep lining it up. Try to do about the same distance away from the edge of the paper. I find that works better than really purposely trying to line up. So I'm just looking at the image from before and then trying to get it close to where I want to be on the paper. All right, not too bad. Set that aside. Then we're going to stamp the word love again. And that. This is going to be in black. And I'm going to go low this time, so I might have to stand up. A little more ink too, so that I can put it on the top where it's supposed to go. So go a little bit lower. And that should leave some room for that gold. Okay, so I want you to look at this. So the bottom part did not stamp very well, but because it almost looks like, oh no, I can't remember the word, where it gets lighter down towards the bottom on purpose. Oh, what is that word? Can't remember. I'm gonna leave it like that. I am not gonna try and color it in because I like that look. Ombre, ombre. All right, and then the last thing we need to stamp is the jar, also in black. And then we'll switch for the ribbon. So we get a lot of ink. And just smack it right in the middle there. Press down, let it sit. And then you're gonna wanna switch colors to the scarlet. Looks good. And then grab this piece right there. All right, oh, wish I had my cleaner. So we'll put that on, switch colors. Now, I did a little video saying that you could pre-do this. You could do this as part of the prep with the jar and do your liquid glass. So here's another time when you could stop and do that. You could, if you hadn't already done your liquid glass on this, if you hadn't already stamped this, here's another point where you could actually pause this video and go liquid glass this up. I'm gonna try something different and liquid glass it after I get it on the card, which works for some things. We'll see how it works for this. But if you are concerned about that, about messing up your card or whatever, you can go ahead and liquid glass it now and let it set for several hours and then come back and finish this card. All right, let's set those aside. Start to put this card together. Now, on this case, we cut a piece of the mix-ins to make a bigger background. And you could use either side that you want. I'm gonna use the lighter side, I believe. just put that down on your card base. Okay, and then next is the red polka dots. And you can see it just adds another little layer, because layers are the trick for both scrapbooking and card making. I'm going to say it again and again. You're going to hear me saying that a lot because it's the truth. It's one of the mistakes that a lot of people make is they're not using enough layers. All right, now the gray paper that you so nicely stamped. Put that right in the center. All right. Now we're going to do what we did before. We're going to cut this and get the shimmer trim on there. Matter of fact, I'll just go ahead and put my shimmer trim. Remember, I had stuck it aside. And so I'm going to put this on the top. And then I'll go ahead and do my dovetailing. So right above where you stamped. And then I'm just going to trim that. And do my dovetail. You can see I made a little mistake and somehow got scarlet on there. So let me trim this first. Trim that excess first so it'll be easier to dovetail. All right, now back. Because I made that mistake, I'm gonna dovetail a little bit deeper than I would normally just to try and cut some of that off. And cut in from each side. And a little deeper on this side for me. Like that. And that. All right. Now we're gonna go and put that on the right measurements again. So it was 1 1/4 inches from the bottom of the card. And then a 1/2 inch in, and I'm just going to put the tiniest little bit of adhesive just to stick it down so we can stamp around it. And go back, get your first part is sending you. So find the sending you word. Where did I throw that? Right here. And get that on there. And in black this time, not scarlet. In black. I'm going to put that above it. Nice and straight. And I didn't put my foam down. With delicate words, sometimes it doesn't really matter, but I will do it for the second one. And the second word is going to be this holiday season. All right, get that on your block. And that'll be in black too. Try to get it on straight. And I got a lot of ink on my block, so I wasn't paying attention. All right, now pull that off and get your foam tape on. And put a little there. There. I'm gonna get my ruler back out, make sure I'm getting this on straight, but you could really eyeball it. So it's 1 1/4 inches. And about 1/2 inch in. Just like that. Okay. Now we're going to start putting on those weeds. Now on the first one, I got them a little squished together, so I'm going to go a little more spread out this time. And I'm going to grab a different glue too, because that was coming out pretty slow. So I'm going to start with the brown one this time. I hope, well, this isn't coming out that much faster. There we go. I still want to put all the stems together, but I think I'm going to just let it tip a little bit more there, like that. Get it to stick down. And then the glittery one that we did. So if you decided to go with the glitter paper, otherwise it's going to just be back at that pattern paper that the original directions say. So I'm going to spread this a little bit more. Hold it down. Ugh. Boy, I like regular adhesive so much better than glue, don't you? I don't like to have to hold it. And then I'm going to turn this a little bit more, spread it a little more than I did the first card. Right across there. Hold it down. And then we've got one of those delicate pieces again, which it does have issues because it is so rounded in there. So use extra glue that hopefully will kind of drip down and attach it. I'm gonna turn this just slightly. Okay. Now, I'm gonna use my ink to hold all those down for a minute. All right. Let me put a little glue here. All right, that's set. I may have to fool with that a little bit, and I'm gonna put a lot of foam tape on this jar because I'm going to liquid glass the jar. So, because liquid glass is wet, it will warp paper, right? So the more foam tape you put on this, the better it's gonna stay stuck down. And once that it warps a little bit, it will return to, you know, flatter. If you've got it in a situation where it's kind of forcing it to be flat. So with a lot of this tape, you're gonna force this to kind of meld back into the original shape. So I'm gonna do just a little bit more here on the edge. Not using my non-stick, you can tell. Where did those go? They're around here someplace. So I'm gonna get this all in here so it's very, very filled with tape. Now the bow is the only issue. So your options with the bow, and where did my bow go? There it is. Okay, the options with the bow is you could put it down now and liquid glass over it, or you can put it on when the liquid glass is wet, or you could wait until the liquid glass is completely dry and then put it on. I think I'm gonna attempt to put it on into the wet liquid glass. So let's see how that works. Okay, so I think we got to do a little stamping first, and then we will get on with that liquid glass. Grab your berries. Where did mine go? Like, I just keep throwing all these little images over here, and now I lost my berries. Here they are. Okay. Get your scarlet out. Do a few berries here and there. And then we'll try that liquid glass. Okay. Make sure you have a nice flowing liquid glass. Yep, mine's already good. Good to go. Looks pretty good. I'm gonna start at the top and just kind of outline that top edge. And then I'm gonna go down the sides like you would do if you were coloring, you know, where you kind of outline your coloring area when you were a kid, right? You would outline it. It kind of puts a little block so that when you're filling in with all the rest of it, and now I'm doing a nice consistent flow here, going all the way down, but that puts a little block between the edge of the image to hold in all of this glue. Try not to let the air suck back into your bottle, and you'll get less bubbles If you get bubbles, poke them with a pin or a piercing tool. Try not to go too thick, but fill it in so that it doesn't have any lumps. And I'll show you one of the things that I did that I made a mistake in a second here. Doing pretty good. I see just a couple tiny little bubbles. I'm still maintaining a really consistent pressure, not letting that air suck back in. And just making sure it looks smooth. I think we're pretty good. Okay, so the only little bubbles I have, they're so tiny, hardly even worth it. But I do have these hat pins that I bought real cheap. And I'll just try to poke them a little bit to make them go away, but they're pretty tiny, so not even gonna really see them. All right, now let me attempt this. So I told you lots of different alternatives to this. You could do this after it's dry, but I'm going to lay it into, get it off my fingers, the problem. I'm gonna just let it lay into that liquid glass. Okay, that works. And then let this dry a long time. You know, at least a couple hours. Now you gotta be careful once you put it back together, because I made a mistake with this one. I wanna show you really close. So you can see this one's quite wavy. I didn't put a lot of foam tape underneath it, and so when it warped, it didn't return back to the original form. The other thing is I accidentally bent it, and do you see those cracks there? See the crack in it? Now, it's not a terrible look. It's kind of cool in a way, but that's from being a little too thick and then accidentally bending it. So be careful with it. We'll see how this ends up, and I think it's going to be just fine that way. So that is a way that you can go ahead and do it. Next one coming up.